For more on the free trade zone in Africa, I'm joined by Nii Akuetteh, Executive Director of the African Immigrant Caucus. He's also the former founding Executive Director of the George Soros West Africa Regional Foundation. Good to see you. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
So we gave the introduction to the story, and this is a big one because we talk about free trade zones around the world. Now Africa naturally would want their own. Very quickly, the significance of this. Why is this zone so important to the countries involved?
I think it is because, you know, when you compare Africa with other regions of the world, their trade with their neighbors is almost non-existent, partly because of history. They are connected to the colonial masters and the infrastructure and even the nature of their businesses and industries. So they've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I think this is significant because it covers half of the members of the Africa Union. And the hope is that in 2 years, the others who are not part of it will look at this and join so that you have a continent-wide free trade zone. So this is an important beginning of something they've been wanting to do for a very long time.
Yasser Hakim in that last piece insinuated, or I should say hinted at some of the challenges they're facing behind closed doors. I'm wondering if you can help us. What are they saying?
Oh, number one, infrastructure. You know, to have good trade with your neighbors, there must be not just communication, but also transportation and transit of goods. A second area is that you must exchange things that you guys don't make the same. You know, part of the challenge for Africa is that many African countries are selling primary commodities. And so they have to look to manufacturing because otherwise they are both all selling the same things. I think finance to develop the infrastructure is also another of the challenges. So this will take some time before it gets to where it fully needs to go because it has those obstacles.
One of the criticisms in the past has been political instability.
Yes.
It appears, at least in the last few years, things have been a little calmer. But I think for investors around the world, it's something that they think about, right? I mean, in terms of international transportation, global risk. What would you tell those who would ask the question is, how safe is it to do business in Africa?
You know, what I will say is that, in fact, this agreement in Egypt is covering 26 countries. So you have differences in different countries. A handful of countries have serious security challenges, but it is the nature of the global news that they focus on. You know, what gets their attention may be, you know, instability, wars, so that if there are 2 or 3 countries suffering from that, they will ignore the other 50 countries. So I think if you look at those 26, some of them are some of the most stable countries in Africa. If you take South Africa, if you take Egypt, if you take Tanzania, you know, so the majority of the 26 countries, I will say to investors that these don't have any problems with instability at all. Moreover, the advantage Africa enjoys is that this is where investors get the most return for their money.
Okay, fair enough. NAFTA, WTO, TPP, and go on and on about different issues in terms of free trade deals. The one thing they have in common that they have a very hard time to get all the countries to agree on the same rules and actually follow the rules. And if they don't follow the rules, agree on a way to punish those who don't follow the rules.
Right.
That is one of the biggest challenges, isn't it?
Actually, I think Africa might have a comparative advantage there because, you know, the Africans have a lot of things in common. And one of them is the desire to grow their economies quickly. So therefore, it seems to me that when they are negotiating with each other, there isn't a lot of opposition. There is a lot of common feeling and a desire to compromise and move forward. So I expect them to actually have a less difficult time reaching agreement than, say, TPP or NAFTA or the others.
Very quickly, which countries stand to benefit most should this deal come to fruition?
I think Egypt, and to my mind, this is why they've been pushing forward and they are hosting it. I think that South Africa, obviously, because it's so big and its economy is so advanced. Kenya also, I think, I mean, those are among the 3 countries that I will pick as likely winners in this agreement.
You think Africa, and I know this is stretching a bit, but do you think that they might benefit perhaps from a single currency as did Europe back then in 1999?
Oh yes, oh yes. I mean, I think the road to getting there may take some time. But definitely, if there was a single currency, it's going to have a big positive impact on trade in Africa. No question about it. The issue is how you get there. And you know, I mean, you just mentioned Europe. Europe has had some bumps because while they have a common currency, they don't have a common government and a common economic policy, and that can bring challenges.
Yes, those are very big challenges. In fact, we don't even know what Europe will look like in the next few months, perhaps. Nii Akuetteh, thank you very much from the African Immigrant Caucus. Thank you for spending some time with us and explaining this very important issue.